But then she tries to like pull on it, like she's starting a lawnmower, you know. Like I said, I'm just happy she wasn't attractive, or I might have been like, okay.
It was a good thing she didn't succeed, because that would probably be very toothy. Like, she's that drunk?
Oh, yeah. Just falls asleep in mid, just in.
Like, it's just a raw corn on the cob, and she's got to grind the kernels off. Like, that'd be awful. You got extra fucking nut butter on it from work balls. That's terrible. You gotta get over here. You have to be in the mic.
You gotta get up in that mic.
You gotta be all up in that mic.
You gotta be making love to that mic.
Get deep in that mic like a stripper's bunghole.
How's the weather?
Sticky. Come on.
I was saying.
You have to come up with it. Why do we have to make you come up with it?
That almost.
You watch all the YouTubers. You should know good intros. Usually we just dive right in.
No, you need like one intro and you kind of stick with it so everyone knows it's your podcast and it's your opening.
Oh, they know this is our podcast. You don't listen to podcasts. How do you know how intros go? They're different from YouTube intros.
YouTube money.
I'm not Shane Dawson.
Oh, you should be.
I don't want to be.
He's rich as fuck.
He's weird looking.
There he is.
Come on, Mindy. Get over here and say some stuff.
I want to, but just tell me something to say and I'll just say it. Just give me a line and I'll say it.
Is it gonna be one of your lines, or because that's normally how it opens?
Well, I usually introduce the podcast. I say, "Hey, welcome to," and I say the name of the podcast. And then I say my name, and then I give Spencer a made-up name.
But she could do one of those centrals like, "Welcome to the Drunken Pen Podcast," and then we can cut into the
Drunken Pen Writing.
It's Drunken Pen Writing.
Yeah,
You gotta get it right.
I said it wrong, so
Yeah, he doesn't know.
yeah, I know.
Why would he know?
I'm just here to record.
Guzzle that shit. Come on, Mindy, get over here and wing it.
Okay. Got to introduce you.
Ring a ding ding.
You have to call Spencer the Armenian Ass Explorer.
No.
Yeah.
That's a tongue tie. I'm going to fuck it up.
Spencer the Armenian Ass Explorer Church. No, I always give him one of those.
Spencer, the Armenian
Ass Explorer.
Ass Explorer.
Do you need to write it down?
How about this? The Armenian Ass Astronomer. There you go.
That's
easy.
even worse.
No, that's his name. The Armenian Ass Astronomer Church.
The Armenian
Ass Astronomer. He was the Greek mystique in the last one.
See, I can't say it correctly because I'll be laughing. Okay, silence.
Silencio.
Welcome to the Drunken Pen Writing Podcast.
You fucked it up. You laughed. That was professional.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
You gotta say, welcome to the Drunken Pen Writing Podcast.
I'll introduce you to...
Here's your host, Caleb James and Spencer, the Armenian Ass Astronomer
I don't like
Church.
that. Okay. Here we go.
Let's say, do we need to write it down for you?
Armenian Ass Explorer?
No, astronomer. Ass Astronomer. He looks into the deepest, vast voids of ass.
Armenian
For life.
Ass Astronomer?
Armenian Ass Astronomer Church. Yes, he's Spencer, the Armenian Ass Astronomer Church.
Okay.
It's not
You
difficult.
might need to write a script. Just write a script real quick.
I need to write a script. Would I write it at anywhere?
Anyway.
Yeah, just whatever brain plays with.
Okay.
He's not Kevin. He won't be sniffing it and like, taking the handwriting down later. I got another memento.
Try to somehow to duplicate that handwriting into fake love letters to me.
Put it in his wall that's filled with like her hair that he gets.
I like how Kevin's like, because you don't deal with it, but he's like, again, a Lent, like, gonna give up like phones and Facebook for Lent. Like,
Is he saying that already?
Yeah.
He has so many people that follow him.
Well, my thing is, like, it's the same thing you do every year. Maybe you should do something bigger than just your like Facebook. Like, who gives a shit about that? Like,
give up racism. Or
yeah, give up racism for Lent, please.
Give up your homophobia for a little bit. You ready?
Okay, yeah. Welcome to the Drunken Penwriting Podcast. These are your hosts, Caleb James and Spencer.
So close.
Can you just put them together? Like,
No, you fucked it up. If I put it together, you gotta give it a space between. You didn't give it a space.
you know what?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Do it.
All right. I can't take it seriously.
It's not meant to be
It's
taken.
dead serious.
I'm so serious until then. Okay, I can do it this time. Welcome to the Drunken Penwriting Podcast. Fuck. I froze. All right, here I go again. One more time. This is the last time. I just want to do it ASMR. Welcome to the Drunken Penwriting Podcast. These are your hosts, Caleb James and Spencer. I can't do it! Why does it have to be Armenian?
Because that's what he is!
Are you Armenian? I don't even know what that means. How about I do Spencer's first and then yours? I'll say him and then you.
But I'm the lead host.
Yeah.
Well, Spencer can be the lead host for
You want to be the lead host?
I guess. That
Welcome to the Drunken Penwriting Podcast. These are your hosts, Caleb James and Spencer, the Armenian astronomer.
So close.
Would it help if we were out of the room?
No.
You said it, and then we just come back and splice it together.
No, okay, I can do it this time, for real. Welcome.
Well, you hit the mic and stop shaking.
Welcome.
That's too mean.
Okay. Welcome to the Drunken Penwriting Podcast. These are your hosts, Caleb James and Spencer, the Armenian astronomer. Can't you just use one of those?
You gotta at least finish it.
I'm getting so close, though.
Just do it.
You're eyeballing me. You're going...
I'll look at the floor.
Okay, yeah, Spencer's looking away. He's helping. You're not.
At the end, you need to end that podcast with no of these failed attempts. Just splice together.
Might be the whole part.
All right, here we go. Welcome to the Drunken Penwriting Pod. I fucked up.
Yeah, you did.
Hold on. I got stuff in my throat.
No comment.
Welcome to the Drunken Penwriting Podcast. These are your hosts, Caleb James and Spencer, the Armenian...
Armenian.
Okay, I'm fucking my words up. Armenian, right?
Armenian.
Say it 3 times fast.
Armenian. Okay, I got it this time. I promise.
Oh, no.
Welcome. Oh, fuck, I hit this shit again. Welcome to the Drunken Penwriting Podcast. These are your hosts, Caleb James and Spencer, the Armenian astronomer. I kept wanting to say explorer.
He's not an explorer. Explorer means he's getting in it, and he's not that perverted.
No, I'm just looking at it from afar.
Yeah, he looks from distance. He doesn't crawl up in it.
Okay, I think I can
At least
seriously
this time.
do it this time.
Unless you want to be an ass spelunker, then you're really in it.
Don't start putting words in my head, because I'm going to
Okay.
fuck it up more. Okay, this is it, and then
That's
I'm
when
done.
you're Serbian next week. You'll be the Serbian semen spelunker.
Armenian astronomer. Welcome to the Drunken Penwriting Podcast. These are your hosts, Caleb James and Spencer, the Armenian astronomer. Church.
Very well done in one take. That was amazing.
Well done.
Very professional. We'll hire you to do all our future gigs. Told you we could give you a mic if you wanted to be on.
She just wants to watch. She's a dirty cuck. She just wants to watch.
Fucking mic. Can you be a female cuck?
I think you can be. Yeah, why not?
That's a very interesting question.
I mean, I don't think there's one out there, but I don't see why you couldn't be.
Why wouldn't there be one out there?
Somebody.
So you'd watch your husband make it with a big black woman, right? That'd be the opposite.
Yeah.
Female cuck.
Yeah, or maybe a sexy black woman, because it doesn't necessarily have to be big. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, I don't know. I always just think big man dingo.
It's gonna be. It's like a white chick with really small tits watching her husband have sex with a black chick with like really big tits. Because that would be the one comparison.
I guess so. I never really thought of it.
Because all the dudes in the cucks that are watching, they always got like the little...
They have little wieners?
I mean, I think that's what's implied. Because why would you be going and... That's why you need the other dude, because of the small wieners that you're married to or whatever.
I'm not quite sure the rules on being a cuck. I don't know why you'd want to do that.
This is just what...
I'm not judging.
This is just what other people told me about these things.
Sure. Other people.
The only way I know this information is because other people told me.
This was supposed to be an episode, but I don't know what the topic is or what we're supposed to be talking about now. That was...
We were supposed to be talking about some of the future projects we are close to completing.
Future or current projects?
Current
projects we're going to be completing in the future.
Yes.
I suppose we could get into that. we have like almost 30 minutes of nonsense before this, and I'm going to air it all.
You should.
I want to air 10 minutes of that intro.
What about the other 10?
You gotta draw the line somewhere. Well, I've been working on multiple stories. I know you've been working on stories.
Yeah. You want to go first? Or?
Not really, man.
Okay, all right. I'll go first.
Kind of worn out here, supervising.
You're producing.
Yeah, I'm producing. I'm mixing this bitch.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here talking nonsense. I'm
just trying to think how I'm going to edit all this together to make sense.
I don't worry about it too much.
All right, well, go ahead and do it.
All right, so the main story that I'm working on now is, I guess, considered a short story. I'm closing in close to 3,000 words now as I'm making my second go-through through the story. It's kind of... I don't want to say... It's not suspense because there's not really any suspenseful moments to it. Maybe like a slight thriller, kind of. It's a...
Well, from what you told me of the synopsis, it sounds like kind of like a thriller.
Yeah, but...
Or even almost like a whodunit. I don't know if you're going that manner.
Nah, not really. I mean, there's... It's hard to explain without...
Why don't you give the basic premise first?
Basic premise is this, it takes place high school football team. This dude, senior year, he's tried out for the football team each 3 years, always getting cut. So he gets cut again this year like normal, is extremely frustrated, and decides that since just because they won't let him on the team doesn't mean he won't try to help the team win this year. So he goes about in many different ways and fashions of fixing the games throughout the season, whether it be through different means of bribery or threats, many other things.
Blackmail.
Some blackmail, late blackmail going on to accomplish these goals. And, of course, things don't go according to plan 100%.
Now, did you write this character to be, like, obsessed with the school? Because that would be a good way to go about it. Almost like a obsessive lover or like a stalker type of situation, but he's obsessed with, the school or maybe just the team.
He's kind of obsessed, not with if it was with anything, it would be the team. It's like him just wanting to be a part of the team and always constantly
kind of be accepted.
Yeah, and just always getting rejected. I kind of lay down some of the reasons on why they keep on cutting him and like how he's trying to use those skills that they say that he don't have to make the team in what he's doing off the field and to rig these games and things like that.
Right.
Like I said, I'm about 2,500, 600 words into it. I'm about halfway through the second draft. I've added some good stuff, taken out some blast stuff. But what I'm liking now too is like, cause that's like literally like the first half. So after kind of where I've started, that's when I kind of got into my groove a little bit writing the story.
That's usually how it goes. Once you get into it, you go faster. So I'm
thinking this part I won't need to add too much. What I think I'll probably have to end up doing is maybe change like some phrasing, maybe like I said it this way, but if I said it this, it gets the idea across better.
So you're not adding too much to the actual story itself now, just
the first half that I re-edited, I added probably about like almost 300-400 words to. So I think in the second half, it's not going to be so much adding on to it, but just kind of more polishing and fixing it up a little bit. Getting that those first draft like jitters of just trying to get the story out on the page.
Right.
Out of there and actually laying down some like groundwork to make it,
Well, it sounds like you have the character motivations and stuff pretty much well established.
And the only tricky part that I was having trouble with, like, because the character is not necessarily likable. Even with, like, the constant rejection, it's still kind of hard to
put people on his side.
Yeah, and I don't know if I do or not, which I'm kind of okay. I'm kind of okay with them not even necessarily rooting for him, but through the story, like, you know what I mean? Or at the end.
If you did want to make him more likable, like you were talking about, like, the reasons he got rejected from the football team and stuff, maybe go a little more in depth with that, or just kind of even bring up a little bit of his background or something. But like I was saying, he's kind of obsessed with the school. Maybe kind of give a reason why, like the sports team or football team, like why he wants to be accepted so much. Like that would be a way to go about kind of making him more likable. But if you're not going to go that route, then it sounds like you're already good.
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't want to give it finish making it the pass through here, and then I was gonna shoot it over to you. See what you thought about it if you didn't mind looking. Well, you'd end up looking it over it anyways before we posted. But even kind of before that, see what you. Because like I said, it's only like maybe gonna end up around 3,000. That's probably the most. So it's not like it's like a huge thing to try to.
Yeah, it won't be too time consuming. So when do you think you'll be completely done with it?
I'm hoping it by the end of this week at the latest. Because I was gonna try to do. Finished it up the other day, but had some yesterday, but had had some like family things we had to do, and then today we're recording this episode, so I might, when I get done and get back home, maybe try to do another couple hundred words. But I think if I do anything, I might just try to. There's a review that I'm working on. Maybe try to knock that out, get it going, and then when I get done with work, because I get done with work again early tomorrow with my day job, and after that, actually try to complete it at least a second pass, and maybe again give it another quick go through. See, it doesn't hurt to. You don't want to overdo it, but
you want to make sure you at least got what you want down,
or at least what I think I want down.
Right. Let's say the story I was working on. I've been not necessarily struggling with the story itself, just getting around to doing it. Because I've been editing like the podcast episodes and trying to get some stories out for the site. Because I've been pretty consistent the last couple weeks of writing stories for the site. We've been getting some comments back from that are pretty good. So, like, I wanted to get one out yesterday, but I didn't get done in time, so I just put it for today.
Yeah.
And I haven't even gone around to checking how that one's doing. But the current story I'm working on is kind of like our winter theme. So most of my stories have been based on that. And this one is, the working title is like Snow Day. It's about a guy who owns a cafe in like a bigger city. And I'm kind of thinking like a Detroit type of city that's going down, like the bad side of Detroit or something. So his business...
Isn't that just Detroit?
Well, no, I think Detroit has like one part of the city that's pretty good.
Like a block?
Probably. But the story is like about a guy who... He started the cafe not necessarily to, make a lot of money or anything like that. He just kind of wanted to bring people together, and he did it for good reasons. And he's been struggling with bringing any kind of profit over like the last year because the city's been going under.
Yeah.
And with less people working and things like that, one of the first things they cut out is, your extra expenses like going to the coffee shop or stuff like that. Like the day of this story takes place, there's like a big snowstorm. So there's nobody out. And his wife ends up kind of convincing him, hey, why don't you, they live upstairs in like an apartment. So she convinces him, hey, why don't you close up for the day? And you're not going to get any customers anyway. You're going to lose money by being open.
Yeah.
He decides to do that. And then they, like she goes upstairs or whatever. Well, where I'm at now is I have him, he like locked up and he was about to go upstairs and there was a knock on the door. And he looks out and there's like a guy pointing to the sign, hey, you're supposed to be open. I want some coffee or whatever it is. The owner's kind of reluctant, but then he realizes like the guy is kind of like homeless looking. So he might be homeless. What are you sitting on a fucking... that thing's like...
You cannot hear it.
You can.
Play it back.
No. I refuse to do what you say. Anyway. So I have it... Like, so he's going to end up probably letting the guy in and stuff. And kind of open up the shop just for him because he thinks he's homeless. And I was going to have it so he, like, talks with the guy and kind of finds out his life story. I'm thinking maybe, like, kind of like a homeless veteran or something like that. Kind of go over why he's in the position he's in. And then the owner will kind of, just through letting that guy come in, kind of rekindle the reason he had for opening the business to begin with. Like I said, bringing people together, just kind of connect with others. I'm not quite sure where I want to go with it now, but I think like I said, the homeless veteran idea, I think that would be the way to kind of introduce that because he's helping another person out.
So what, are you actually trying to tell like a feel-good story? That's weird.
I've been having a couple feel-good stories lately that have been getting some good traction. Try to stay positive during these dreary winter months. Maybe he murders the guy. Maybe he poisons his coffee and then drags him to the basement, and that's his thing.
Or maybe the homeless guy is a demon.
Dun, 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 dun. But yeah, that's what I've been working on. And then, like I said, I have fucking multiple stories. I have that one I still haven't finished. That
with the paint.
Yeah, the guy gets he's like a dumb guy. Works at a factory, gets paint on him, but it's some weird government paint. It's kind of like that Stephen King story with the meteor from Creepshow. Where he gets like all hairy and stuff, or like he turns into like a plant monster or something. This one's not a plant monster, but it like the paint does some fucked up shit. So I still gotta go over that one. I have an essay I wrote that I gotta do a draft or a second pass on, turn that in somewhere. I'm still waiting to hear back from a magazine for a story I submitted probably like a month ago, and if that one doesn't make it, I'll probably just put that on the site. That one was pretty cool. I like it. It was about a woman. I don't remember if I let you read it or not. It was about a woman, and it starts off like you think she lost her husband. So it kind of puts you in that, like, you feel for her. It's kind of depressing, like, mindset. But then it turns out she actually killed him for insurance money.
I didn't read that, but I think I remember you telling me about it before.
Yeah, that one didn't take too long to read, but that's the one I'm waiting to hear back on. I don't remember the fucking name of that one. Yeah, then what else are we working on here?
You
have another story, too.
Yeah, we may have talked about it. I'm not sure. We lost some of our very early episodes before we got started. So
yeah, you started this one a while ago.
Yeah. The working title is Buck the Butcher. It deals with a guy who runs this like kind of little like hole in the wall deli / like little
delicatessen.
Food, yeah, like, you know, you might be able to get like some small sandwiches, or if you just, you know, want some slices of lunch meat, or like the old school, but you know, delis where you get like big chunks of slabs of meat, like if that was like
kind of like an old Russian or European deli in the Bronx or something. You think of,
but like, he owns this business. You doesn't never really think that, you don't know how he stays open. It doesn't get too much. He gets a little foot traffic, but it's not like a big, a big hoity-toity kind of place where he gets a whole bunch of crazy business. It just kind of starts out with him just going through like, just kind of typical day in his life. And he gets one of his kind of regular asshole customers, big douchebaggy kind of guy, giving him shit about, wanting, organic, grass-fed,
free range.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff that a place like that wouldn't, carry, giving him shit about it. It just pisses him off to no ends, more than what it should do. So later that night after he closes, because it's almost kind of like in your story where he lives above the deli.
So he can't get away from the guy.
Yeah. So he gets like super drunk. he wakes up. There's like blood everywhere in the back where he does like a lot of like this, a lot of like
You alright there? Okay.
So where he wakes up in the back where he does like a lot of the butchering and that kind of stuff.
Dude, what's your deal? Why are you mad?
Why are you barking, bro?
He's very upset. I don't understand.
What
the fuck's happening?
Nitro just walks out dragging Mindy by the collar.
I don't know if this will pick up on the audio, but for us it sounds like there's a goddamn concrete mixer in the living room.
There's a tussle going on.
There's a battle to the death, maybe. Holy shit. I just hear deep breathing and a wrecking sound. The whole floor's vibrating. What is that?
It sounds so bad.
Oh, man. Is that crying? What is that?
Weeping?
Is that a blood splatter? I just seen shoot through. Folks, just ignore the brutalization in the other room. It's just my dog mauling my girlfriend.
No biggie.
Happens every day. It's fine.
But so what was I? So
he was drunk and he woke up to blood.
Blood everywhere. So he thinks maybe he just did some work last night, where just not remembering it. And I haven't done this yet in the story. This is when I go back. I'm gonna have to try to see this in. But you don't really necessarily know his backstory. It's kind of I'm gonna have to try to see some shady kind of thing.
Well, remember we were brainstorming. We were thinking he'd be like a Russian ex-mobster type of dude or something.
Something, yeah. There's gonna be a reason for.
It's a fuck guy. Come on. Okay.
There's going to be a reason for the things that he's going to be able to do later on in the story will make more sense from trying to see these mysterious backstory. So it turns out that he has this different like meat that he didn't realize that he doesn't remember having. So he puts it out. That same hipster guy comes in, asks for a sample, tries it, really loves it, gets a whole bunch of it. And then when he finally goes to the back at the end of the day, and he goes and throws the stuff away in his garbage in the back in the back alley, he finds this like half chopped up dead like homeless body,
hobo meat.
And then like that, it all comes flashing back. He starts remembering like
he killed a guy.
No, he killed the guy. He cut the guy up and is now serving it into his restaurant.
Maybe you should give this butcher a small backstory later on, where you find out maybe he was institutionalized at one point.
Maybe. I was thinking maybe he's like one of those guys that can like he's who you call to make somebody else disappear.
Yeah,
which would kind of explain like the
maybe he got fired from the mob for being like schizophrenic or something. Because he has to have you don't just go into chopping up people like when you get drunk.
Well, I was thinking maybe I would just give him like a severe like alcohol problem.
Yeah,
like and that's kind of why like he left the mob too, because he was becoming untrustworthy, and then he's kind of on the run. From like, you know what I mean? It's not
again, if it was like a Russian mob in actual Russia, then he came to the United States, and now he's in a city, like opened up a deli. Yeah, that would be a good way to kind of blend in.
Yeah, and he would have enough money from his Russian businesses with him that where he can subsidize keeping the place open, where he doesn't really. But it turns out that people will like this homeless meat.
They really like the homeless meat.
So, and he finally finds it, or when he finally runs out, he has to get something else to replace. And that's kind of like where I'm at right now.
May I make a suggestion?
Make it.
Perhaps his homeless meat is so good because that homeless man partook in lots of sweet cherry brandy.
Maybe.
All the time. And it sweetened his meat, if you will.
It would make, yeah. What I'm thinking about going forward is that he's not going to always just be going after, like, homeless people. He thought, well, maybe almost like in a Dexter-y kind of way, like, oh, well, there's this shitheel that, doing, I'll axe him and then,
criminals and pedophiles and shit like
yeah,
that.
or just real bad dudes, and he would know a bad dude from his mafia days, and he'd be able to tell the type. He might even know people, by in the city or whatever. But
I would like it if he killed that hipster guy at some point.
I was thinking,
or is he the one that just lives?
Yeah, I'm thinking he's I have quote unquote Buck, the Russian, and then I'm gonna have like he always, no matter what, like I said, he's not that busy, but he always has like that one guy that's always like, because I figured that he could have like a couple like little tables so if people wanted to eat while they were there, like he wouldn't have like a whole dining room, but he'd have like a couple tables and chairs if somebody wanted to eat and have coffee there. So it's like his one regular. And I was thinking, like, he might know. Like, I haven't... Because, like, I've kind of had, like, an idea of trying to do, like, a series of stories with this character. So maybe, like, if in future stories, he might lead on that he kind of knows... or knows of him from his heyday.
Well, what if it turns out the hipster guy is one of those creeps who actually eats human meat? Maybe. Like you hear from, like, Germany and stuff who... are in those weird underground culinary groups that like they have those dark web websites where it's like, oh, here's how to get human meat and things like that. Maybe he's involved in that. That's why he likes the meat so much.
That's a good idea. But my original idea was just to have him be like that, almost kind of like the Newman to my Buck, to where like he's that guy. They rub each other the wrong way, but there's like comic kind of relief between the two, like And the Russian thing, I like your Russian idea because then that could make their interaction even funny because you'd have like the kind of like a Russian accent and just like organic, and just have like, no, I haven't ever really wrote in other languages. You ever try?
That'll take some research.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I've written another. Well, no, I've had Japanese characters and stuff, I think.
But like I've written them with speaking English.
You know what? Actually,
with an accent.
That one story I wrote about that took place in for that story I wrote for that short story collection. The one character in there, he's Spanish and he's Mexican and he almost only speaks Spanish, but he does have like some English words. So I did do the whole combining and like I said, it takes some research. Like, so Russian, you might want to find some Russian words you'll throw into, like, sentences. You don't have to go too over the top with it, but it will take some effort. And then, just maybe watch some clips of, like, on YouTube where Russians speaking English just to see how their accent goes. Because, again, you don't want to go too heavy on that. And a lot of it you can just kind of imply with the sentence or the dialogue tags and stuff.
See, that's the great thing about comics is because you have to just put a little asterisk next to him talking, or like these little like bars, and it just like in the corner goes
another language,
Russian, and you just read it in English. So that makes it great.
Yeah, and as far as writing goes, I mean, if he's speaking Russian, you don't actually have to write in Russian. You could just say, and then he went to a long rant in Russian, and the guy didn't know what he's saying, something like simple like that.
That or maybe have him, since he's like kind of covered up his track, have more of an English, American accent until like he gets like really angry, or like when he gets drunk.
Yeah,
and like that's when it starts to like it starts to really come out a little bit more. So
yeah, but I would recommend at least finding some Russian phrases. Yeah, so you could add just like some hilarious shit in there, like Russian curse words.
Yes, I like curse words in all languages.
I don't like Swedish curse words.
No, do Swedes even have curse words?
I'm sure they do, but it's probably weird curse words that when translated to English means like,
you're not very
go lick your mother, or like something weird like that. Go scratch the back of a mule. What? Like weird insults that it wouldn't be offensive over here, but to them it's like the biggest offense you can say. Yeah, I like that story idea though. There's a lot of ways you could go with that. I was thinking too, if you have that hipster guy, what if, just the saying, like, you had him, if he did know what human meat was, maybe he's the reason Butch has to keep getting human meat because that guy's blackmailing him. That could be a way to go, or even just, maybe not necessarily that route, but you said future stories. Maybe he wants to get out of doing that, and then, like, some other guy comes along and knows, and then makes him.
Oh, yeah. I kind of forget if it was like the second or third story, he kind of gets forced into a situation.
Are you gonna make this like a serial story or actual just short stories, a novel? I mean, you could do a lot because this could be a very long piece.
It is, for what I got down already. I'm already like, if I remember correctly, around like the 2,000 word mark already, and like I still got a good chunk.
You just got the opening part.
Yeah, like I got him like remembering curing the homeless guy, and so I have the whole other section of how him trying to figure out who to get next and how that happens and how it messes up and he has to react to all that, and yeah, that's still a good chunk to go through.
I think a good idea is once you start getting back to that one, we'll do episodes every once in a while like this. Not the fucking 20-30 minutes of bloopers we had. So this will be a blooper episode, but future episodes we'll kind of just go over the projects. I think that'll help us keep on track with them, because a lot of times I have a problem.
It makes you accountable.
Yeah, the way I write a lot of the times, like when I do short stories for the website, usually I write the whole story in either that day, not necessarily the day it's due, but like in one sitting or maybe 2 sittings. I don't, other than that long, like a couple long short stories I've done or serial pieces, I have trouble stretching out my work to like, oh, I'm going to write every day this week on this one story. So I think that would be a good way to get me to do that more, is if we actually had the podcast talk about like our current project and I could be like, hey, I made this. Like you said, it keeps you accountable. I think this will be the test episode for that. And hopefully some of you listeners will enjoy it and maybe get on board and kind of want to read what we were talking about.
Yeah. And then check out other stuff that we have written previously and will write futurely.
And especially when we start getting into like doing short story collections and novels and things like that, that'll definitely boost it up. Your stories are probably longer than my story so far, because like what I was planning was a flash fiction piece. The Snow Day story, I mean, that's going to be a short story, but it's probably not going to go over 5,000 words.
Yeah.
Like your Bush story, I'm saying that's probably going to be a long.
I'm thinking it's going to, it might not be as long, but it's probably going to be close to Daily Rounds number. Yeah,
and that was a serial story, so I would just estimate that just your first story in this, I don't know, trilogy or whatever you have, just series, is probably going to hit like the 10,000 word mark after. Yeah. Because if you're at 2,000-3,000 words, just the opening, that's definitely going to stretch out a long time.
And that's like, and I haven't even gone through any of that in a while to fluff that, to fix the stuff that I know that I've, not doing enough with.
Well, it'll probably be a good idea to go back and kind of, especially if you're going to stretch it out, is do like each story's arc.
Yeah.
So you kind of, like this one you have now, you have him set up he finds the homeless guy, he feeds him. So you go with his beginning, then you have to have the middle of what happens, like, and you get to the climax, and then you have to end that story, but leave it open so there'll be another one.
And that's the trick with like, us mostly doing a lot of flash fiction. Whenever you get into because like with the flash fiction in the smaller pieces, it's kind of hard to do like that 3-act structure that everybody's always says.
Yeah, flash fiction, that's very tricky.
So like flash fiction is normally like an event or a thing that happens and how what that does. So like this is definitely a lot more planning and effort kind of put into that to make sure that you have that this happens to cause this, and then that resolves everything.
Well, the way I've started going about this is I found some good advice on a TED Talk. Actually, I'm trying to think what... It was on a podcast I was listening to. I want to say it was Writer Files, but I'm not positive. But
that almost sounds creepy.
Yeah. It was. I think it's kind of played up like that.
Yeah.
But the guy who was on there, I forget his name, but he did a TED Talk too, which was really good. And the one piece of advice that he gave that I really liked was, and I don't think this was even his original advice.
What advice is? Like, how... True. Like, I mean...
But his was, like, the way you start the story and end the story normally it should be opposite. Yeah. So, for instance, like I did a story a couple weeks ago about a guy like at a coffee shop. So the whole point of him being in the coffee shop was he wants to get a cup of coffee. Okay, that's simple enough. So he doesn't have a cup of coffee at the beginning. The end of the story with the opposite effect, he gets a cup of coffee. and then you just get to point A to point B in that, or point Z or whatever, and then everything between is the story. And then I actually ended up with that story was he ends up giving his coffee to some kid or something, but whatever it was, for like a charitable reason or something. I think going into all my future stories, that's what I'm going to kind of keep in mind is, what is the character lacking at the beginning, or what is he trying to get? And then at the end of the story, how does he get that? And if he doesn't, why not?
Or what does he lose?
What does he lose? Yeah.
Depending, what you got going on in the story.
Because, like you were saying with the flash fiction, it's so short, it's hard to do those kind of stories, to have a beginning, middle, and end. And with the short stories, it's a lot easier. But I feel like a lot of times where I would write short stories, I didn't necessarily have a reason always for the character doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been working on a lot more. But anyway, that's pretty much what we've been working on now. Spencer, the Armenian ass astronomer church. That was an ordeal.
It was. If she's going to keep on doing those, you're going to have to come with those ahead of time and let her do some practicing.
Yeah, I'll have to listen and see how that sounds. It sounded good on our feedback.
Yeah.
But anyway, we hope you guys... I don't know what you would have took from this episode. Like I said, I think this will be our blooper episode.
This is for the shits and the giggles, guys. This is fun.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't always want to hear about two guys just talking about how you should better, what you need to do better, right, or whatever. You know that. Have some fun.
Yeah, enjoy yourself. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to go enjoy ourselves. Smoke some crack.
Cocaine.
Whoa, cocaine.
Cocaine? What, crack's better than cocaine?
Well, I don't really know what crack's made of.
It's crack.
Baking soda and crack? Or
crack,
cocaine?
yeah, crack is from cocaine. Like, you need cocaine to make crack, I do believe.
Crack cocaine.
That's what I said.
Crack cocaine. I don't even know what to say anymore.
That's at least what they made it seem like on The Wire.
Yeah.
That's what Omar was always slinging.
Right. Well, anyway, we're going to go do crack cocaine. You guys have a good night.
Bye.